짤막짤막한 구어체 글을 좀 10개 서브젝트에 대해서 짤막짤막하게 한번 읽겠습니다. Talk about your grocery shopping experience. I go grocery shopping twice a week on average. I normally go to a large supermarket near my apartment. They have everything I need from fresh produce to meat and seafood. I always make a list of the things I need to buy before I shop for groceries. That way I know what to buy and don't end up buying things I don't need. I compare prices salary to get good deals. I normally bring my car and carry the groceries back myself, but sometimes I have them delivered to my apartment. They offer delivery services for regular customers. The store is open until 11 at night, so I can go pretty late when I'm busy. Taking pictures. Talk about that when you like to take pictures. I like to take snapshots in my everyday life. I take pictures very often. I take them frequently when I dine out at a restaurant. I also take pictures of drinks or desserts at coffee shops. I take pictures of my companion animals, a dog and a cat, on a daily basis. Of course, I take the most pictures of all when I travel. Pictures are the best way to capture memories of traveling. Sometimes I browse through photos stored on my phone. It gets me thinking about all the memories. Talk about how you post pictures up online. I like to take pictures and share them on social media. I especially post pictures to mark special occasion. When I upload pictures, my friends leave comments and click like. I like that my pictures get a reaction out of people this way. I also react enthusiastically to pictures that other people share. Another good thing about seeing these pictures is that they give you an idea of what someone is up to. I can stay up to date with friends I haven't seen in a long time thanks to the pictures. We have lots to talk about as soon as we meet. Talk about Korea's geographical traits. Korea is a peninsula in Eastern Asia. North and South Korea is separated by the armistice line at the 38th parallel. A strip of land between the two countries serves as a buffer zone. It is called the Demilitarized Zone or the DMZ. It is one of the most heavily militarized borders in the world. Even the surrounding oceans are claimed by each country, divided by the Northern Limit Line, NLL. Speaking of oceans, there are 3 seas that touch Korea. To the west is the Yellow Sea, to the east is the East Sea, and the East China Sea is down south. Because these oceans are shared with the neighboring countries of China and Japan, there are territorial disputes over some of the islands in them. A case in point is the Tokto Islands, which Korea and Japan both claim ownership over. Korea is also known for its mountains that cover 70% of the peninsula. Talk about how you made use of Ip Too Young to study English. 2 years ago, I missed the cut to become a tour guide interpreter. I failed in the second English interview stage, but last year I passed with flying colors. The biggest difference between 2019 and 2020 was whether I had studied daily with Ip Too Young. I subscribed to the Ip Too Young monthly textbook for a year. I listened to the program at least twice every day, reading the content out loud. Continuing to follow along for a while softened my accent. To me, Ip Too Young was like a vitamin, strengthening my immune system for all English-speaking tests. The question for the tour guide interpreter interviews that were completely unrelated, but starting for over 2 hours each day with Ip Too Young had a noticeable effect. I think the Ip Too Young was the best choice I could have made to prepare for interviews or English-speaking exams. Cicadas. There are many cicadas in Korea. They make a lot of noise in the summer. They can be a bit annoying. They're around all summer and into early fall. Sometimes we can hear them all day as they cry at night as well. They can be distracting as the noise they make is so loud. Plus, they always make noises in groups. When one starts to cry, all the others start to cry together. They not only live in the countryside, but also in the city as well. Wherever they are, there are trees. Chances are you will find them. They eventually die off as the weather gets colder in late fall. E-books. Talk about e-books. The internet had changed our lives drastically. Reading books has become much easier because of the internet and our smartphones. In the past, I didn't read that many books, but these days there are e-books. I read books on my phone whenever I want to. I can read them when I'm on the go because I have my cell phone on me wherever I am. I have come to like books more because I can read them on my phone. I can get access to the internet on my phone, so I can read books much more easily. Tell me about a birthday party you went to recently. I remember going to a birthday party of a close friend. It was held at a traditional Korean bar. The place was famous for Korean pan-fried dishes called chun. We ordered a combo dish with various types of chun. The food tasted extra good that day, probably because I was very hungry. We ended up drinking a lot that day. We even went to a karaoke after that. In the end, we all got a bit drunk. Actually, naturally, I had a terrible hangover the next day. It took me quite a while to sober up, but overall, it was a very memorable birthday party. Korean style market. Talk about traditional Korean style market. There are still many traditional Korean market here and there. You are almost guaranteed to find whatever you are looking for at these markets. Whether it's a fresh produce to everyday item you need, you are bound to find them. The atmosphere is always robust with the hustle and bustle of vendors and customers. Customers usually try to haggle for lower prices. These markets are a melting pot of people from all over the country. Naturally, you are most likely to hear various Korean dialects. There are many food vendors at the marketplace as well. There are tons of Korean street food you can enjoy. They range from big trotters to Korean style pancakes called hotak. Hotak. Rice. Talk about rice. Rice is a staple food in Korea. It is a part of every meal. Every household has a rice cooker. The first order of business when preparing a meal is to cook rice in the rice cooker. White rice is the most common, but people also mix it up by adding other grains. For example, people sometimes cook with glutinous rice. Rice consists of carbs mostly. It is chock full of nutrients that give us energy. These days there is also instant rice that you can cook in the microwave. Talk about rice and porridge. Porridge made by mixing rice and water is an old standby in Korea. Porridge is easy on the stomach and easy to digest. People often eat it when they feel under the weather. It's especially common when people have an upset stomach. It's given to patients receiving inpatient treatment at clinics. These days, there are lots of chain restaurants that specialize in porridge. People who eat at such restaurants can enjoy a meal that suits their taste. Raising a pet tortoise. Talk about raising a pet tortoise. I have a son who will be entering middle school this year. It had always been on my mind that raising a pet would be good for him, but a dog or a cat seemed like a big commitment. Then a few years ago, I came across a TV program about tortoises. We thought that raising a tortoise would be less of a burden, so we decided to adopt one. When our son was in second grade, we went to a shop specializing in tortoises and adopted a 3-year-old tortoise. Since tortoises are an endangered species, we had to file papers with the Ministry of Environment. Tortoises mostly feed on vegetables like zucchinis and chicory. They have a reputation for being slow, but that is far from the truth. People are often taken aback by how quickly they dash toward their food. Educating our child. We moved to a neighborhood with excellent learning condition 10 years ago for the sake of our grade school daughter's education. However, after talking things over with my wife, we decided to raise our child to experience a wide variety of things like students overseas. Throughout elementary, middle, and high school, we never sent her to cram schools focused solely on entrance exam for subjects like math and English. Instead, we consistently enrolled her in pianos and art classes and helped her to engage in sports like swimming and skating. We encouraged her to practice self-directed learning, cultivating habits of planning and studying independently. We also made an effort to read books on various subjects together as parents. There was a lot of trial and error at first, but she gradually got the hang of it and gained competence. Eventually, she succeeded in getting accepted to the university and the major she was aiming for. She is now in a senior year, getting prepared to step into society. Gardening. I had a long held dream of living in a single family home and tending my own garden. I finally realized that dream in 2017. I wasn't very good at for the first few years and I experienced a lot of failures. I had to consider factors like sunlight, soil conditions, and characteristics of plants when planting flowers and trees. But rather than trying to understand them, I only planted them to be easy on the eyes for humans and blindly hoped they would grow well. Yet with each passing year, I learned more and gained more experience in gardening. Flowers and the trees became more and more beautiful in their natural form and brought me great joy. Each flowering plant blossoms in its own time, rewarding this gardener's sweat and dedication. Seeing them grow larger and more bountiful each year brings me nothing but happiness. Setting exam question. I'm in my fourth year of working as a high school Korean language teacher. Most teachers are tasked with setting test questions twice per semester for midterms and finals, a total of 4 times a year. The creative process causes me greater pain every time I have to set these questions. I have no choice but to set some really difficult question to accurately assess the student's ability. It always turns me into a mean-spirited person. Most teachers start setting test questions 3 weeks ahead of the exam. We have to submit the final draft at least a week in advance so that the past papers can be printed out. Students are not allowed in the teacher's office while the questions are being set due to the risk of test questions being leaked. Benefits of English recitation. I first got into Ip Young recitation in March 2022. Since then, I've been posting my recitation without missing a single day. I've done it every day without fail, including on public holidays, while I was on the road, when I was not in peak condition, and even when I was sick. Practicing diligently for so long has had several advantages. Firstly, I lacked competence in my English pronunciation, but it has become much more natural making my English studies more enjoyable. Secondly, thanks to my daily English recitation, my children have developed a keen interest in the language. Lastly, all these small successes have piled up and made me recognize my personal growth. As an ordinary mom with no remarkable achievement to speak of, it feels gratifying to gain confidence and become a role model for my children. Naming a child. Naming a child is one of the most important choices that new parents must make. I too wanted the name to embody the meaning of how I wanted my child to grow up. I agonized over it endlessly, even before the baby was born. However, my father in law wanted to provide the baby's name as a gift, so we finally yielded that opportunity to him, albeit regretfully. My father in law consulted with a well known baby naming expert and received several favorable names for the child. We chose one among them. The name I had in mind has become too common now, so I am grateful to my father in law gifting our child a special name. Putin's uncontested run for presidency in 2024. Russian President Vladimir Putin is reportedly set to run in the March 2024 presidential election, with a high likelihood of winning another term. The absence of significant political opposition in Russia makes Putin's victory almost certain. Analysts note the lack of public political freedom in Russia, where criticizing government policies is considered an extremist activity. The Kremlin, while denying any confirmation of Putin's candidacy, projects confidence in his victory should he run. The existing political landscape in Russia features nominal opposition parties. However, these groups are largely seen as supporting the government, especially since the invasion of Ukraine. Prominent opposition figures have been either jailed or forced into exile. The current political climate in Russia indicates a lack of genuine political plurality with parallels drawn to countries like Iran. The elite class remains silent and fearful, particularly after the suspicious death of Yevgeny Prigozhin, a critic of Russia's military strategy, in a plane crash. This event had strengthened the dictatorship, leaving no significant opposition. Amusement parks. Talk about theme parks in Korea. There are many great amusement parks in Korea, in Seoul and in the surrounding Gyeonggi province. There are three major theme parks. Seoul Land in Gwacheon is one of the most well-known ones. There are lots of ride, exhibition of folk village and flower festival. that take place there. Lotte World, on the other hand, is located in the Chamsil area in Seoul. It offers a great ride, ice skating, bowling, and various performances all under one roof. The second Lotte World is currently being built. Last but not least, there's Everland. It's about an hour from Seoul in a city called the Yongin. The park is divided into sims, one of which is a zoo that offers a safari. It also has a water park called the Caribbean Bay. The pros and the cons of fame. Talk about the pros and the cons of being famous. People have a desire to be recognized and loved by others. In recent years, influencers and YouTubers have topped the list of what grade school kids want to be when they grow up. But sometimes I doubt whether famous people are really satisfied with life. It can be easy for everyone to know and see everything about my private life. There is no room for error. There is a famous line in the Spider-Man movies: with great power comes out the responsibility. In the same vein, I think famous people sometimes have to do things against their will because of their influence. For people who rise to fame when they are young, it must be even more of a burden. Talk about how moms teach children English. When my daughter was about 36 months old, I came across content about mom taught English lessons on social media. Ever since then, I've been reading aloud 2 or 3 English books to my daughter every night at bedtime. I've read some books to her dozens of times. 4 months since then. My daughter can't read yet, but she pretended to. That's because she knows the books by heart. Kids' brains are like the sponges. They soak up information. Mom taught English refers to moms setting the tone for kids to learn English. Kids can pick up a language with little resistance when they are young. Moms can help them experience English from a young age. Moms can read English picture books to their kids or turn on audiobooks. And when the kids are a little older, they can be shown English video content so that they can get accustomed to the language. Talk about Tokso skills in Korea. Many Korean students make use of Tokso skill to get some serious studying done. They are different from typical libraries as they are a lot smaller and do not have any books. They also require a fee. You can either purchase a daily pass or pay a lump sum for a monthly pass. Tuxedos have separate rooms for men and women. They are filled with individual study carrels. Study carrels. For personal use. Depending on what type of Toxosil you go to, you'll find a different demographic. Most private Toxosils are frequented by middle and high school students. There are also some public neighborhood Toxosil run by local governments. These tend to be cheaper than their private counterparts. Talk about the things you do when you arrive at a hotel. When I travel, my first order of business is to reserve lodgings. I usually make reservation online or over the phone. When I get to the hotel, I first head over to the front desk in the lobby to check in. When I present my name and credit card, an employee confirms my reservation. They ask about my preferences for a room. Then they give me a key. When I'm traveling heavy, they ask me whether I need a bellhop to help me carry my luggage. When I first get to my room, I take a look around. I then draw the curtains and check out the view outside. When I stay at a hotel that has a nice view, I look outside for a while. Then I unpack my things. I change into comfortable clothes and go back downstairs. Talk about when you went on a diet. I set a goal for the 2 months of winter break. I had only one meal each day and worked out every day for at least an hour. I got pumped up by watching success stories of people who lost weight on YouTube. I hung up a pair of pants in the smallest size on the wall. My goal was to lose weight until I could wear those pants. I got by with only water and black coffee in the morning. For lunch and dinner, I ate only raw and veggies like the carrots and the cucumbers. Talk about how Koreans are sensitive about weight. Korean people are very touchy about their weight. Lots of people take a step at fad diet in order to shed some pound. However, strong will is needed to succeed in dieting. The most important thing is to steer clear of foods that are high in calories and to burn calories by exercising regularly. Getting plenty of shut eye is also important for losing weight. Above all, it's important to develop habits that prevent the weight gain. Talk about baby journals. I really enjoy keeping a diary. I think it's something I inherited from my father. That habit has also carried over into my parenting. I've already filled over 30 volumes of a baby journal since my first baby turned 100 days old. Every day on the bus to work, I write a one-line entry and attach a photo in my baby journal. I can even get it published if I write it every day for 100 days. It's free of charge, so I only have to pay for the shipping. It feels fulfilling, and I'm grateful that I have a space to record the memories every day as well as a baby journal that can be a gift for our family. Now that I'm nearing the end of the 31st volume of my baby journal, I'm excited to share this joy with my family. I give myself a pat on the back as I start each day with my baby journal. Thank you. Talk about the things you do related to banking. I do mobile banking for most of my banking chores. This includes paying utility bills and transferring money. It's very convenient. Almost everything can be done using a mobile application. All I need is my smartphone, a digital certificate, and an OTP device. Whenever money is deposited in my account or taken out, I receive a text message on my phone. This helps me keep track of my account balance. When I need cash, I stop by an ATM. I really have to visit the bank in person. It's only for one-time chores like exchanging currencies or taking out a loan. I also visit the bank when I have to get my card reissued. Supporting small and medium-sized businesses. Talk about the techno parks. A techno park is a public institution for specialized tasks to help support local small and medium-sized business. I am currently working at a techno park in Tejan, and I'm in charge of supporting corporations globally. Mostly, I try to help businesses build up their capabilities to export their product to North America. The work is comprised of three parts. The first is providing on-site consulting for businesses to get a foothold in the North American market. Second is supporting the production of a prototype to be put on the market. And finally, there is support work related to design and patents for export. Holding a meeting and making evaluation to promote growth for a business is no work in the park, but it is very rewarding and meaningful work.